honestly, I was late to the game. I'm from Ohio. I'm like an Ohio lesbian. It's just, I'm from the middle of nowhere, you know what I mean? I didn't know the thing until I like, what, a place like that exists? Closeted me back when I was like 12 or 13, it's just doing jumping jacks. And she's like, yes, Cassidy, you're performing at the freaking Dinah. You know, in Ohio, it's very blue collar, you know. I didn't have anybody that I knew of that was pursuing anything in the entertainment space. I mean, I had an uncle who was in like a cover band, so he was pretty cool.
You're ringing in my head with all this noise.
And I didn't have a phone. I had like an iPod growing up, so I was just completely alienated. I was in a town with like 5,000 people, so I just thought that was the world. So, you know, you're kind of taught to go to college and then you get your job and you move back home, you buy a house, you start a family. That's what I grew up thinking that was the way of life. Then I went to college and then the whole thing just kind of shifted and I was like, wow, people really do this. And I got to meet so many new people and different people with different stories. And that's when I kind of was like, oh, I'm going to do this. People are going to think I'm crazy from where I'm from. I have to be the first, you know. I made that song with a good friend of mine a while ago. I had just gotten out of this pretty bad management situation. I had a pretty tough management situation really early on in my career. And it was like I was just listening to somebody kind of telling me how I should be a woman in the pop space, what I had to look like, what I had to talk about, what I had to think about, how I had to dress. And I was like, I don't fit literally any of those things that you think I'm supposed to be, you know, like I just wasn't marking any of the boxes. And I remember I just thought that I wasn't going to be able to. It's really sad the way that I used to think of myself because I didn't think that I was going to be accepted for who I was. But I thought that for my music, for me to pursue that career in music, I had to form to that because that's how I was going to be accepted and sold or seen. So that was a tough time. But after that, I got out of that management situation and I came out to my fan base. And I was like in that space of coming to terms with myself, accepting myself. And that's when I made that song. It was just like really just loving who you are.
It's like you're imploding. It's hard sometimes, but you gotta keep going.
Doing music was not something I thought that I could do, but it was social media that kind of created that space for me and then also just created a space of people that I didn't know were out there. You know, like I was really lonely and I didn't think that people felt the same things as I did. So I think you can just be the purest form of yourself and your community finds you. It's not like you set out and you're like, I want to pull these people. If you're just yourself and you are who you are to your purest form, people are going to find you, you know, and I think that that's really beautiful. You don't have somebody curating everything that you say, so you just like reach a certain audience. It's just like you have the power now to just have your own content and say the things that you want to say. And TikTok just has me unhinged.
I'm still drinking coffee out of your cup.
I was so nervous to release that song, you know?
This is all I got left of you. Rereading texts from you, watching you out with some guy.
I really didn't even know that many people went through the same thing. I know people were just like, don't do it. Don't date the girl with the boyfriend. Just don't do it. And I'm like, of course, I'm gonna do it. Let me make my own mistakes. So I got a good song out of it.
The foundation, why you only love me in safe places.
It was like I didn't want it to be angry, and I didn't want it to be so sad to the point where it was just like too much for me to listen to. I was nervous to release it, and that song was really hard for me just because it was such a personal thing that was so painful, and I just don't think we had a song to talk about it. I don't know if it's a story that really gets talked about. I mean, we all do it, you know what I mean? It's just one of those things that we remember that moment where we fell for the girl, you know?
High on the jealousy, does he know about me? How you called me your world? Does he know that you fell for a girl? Tell me why?
New stuff. I just dropped Undercovers. It's been quite the process. I was a little nervous about releasing the new music because it's just a whole different era, but This song feels a little bit happier to me, but it's still, of course, emotional because I'm just emo all the time. But I feel like I was just in a better space when I was writing it. So the music's a little bit more like, you know, happier, but they're still, you know, they're still sapphic. They're still women love women, you know what I mean?